Hi, I'm Helen Graves, College of the Canyons instructional designer. Today I want to show you the basics of using Screencast-O-Matic. It's got simple to use screen capture and recording tools to help you easily create, edit, and communicate with videos. In fact, the Studio tool in Canvas uses the Screencast-O-Matic interface, so if you've already used Studio or you plan to, it'll feel familiar. Why is using video in your online course a good thing? Because it's a simple and powerful way to add instructor presence to the online environment. The more ways you can connect with your students as a real person instead of text on a page, the greater their likelihood of success in the class. Video is also good because it allows you to present content in multiple formats, which can meet differing learning needs and preferences. Both of these outcomes promote engagement for all students and specifically help close equity gaps. The first thing I'm going to do is walk you through setting up your Screencast-O-Matic account. Later I'll have you actually do a short recording so you can get a chance to experiment. If you've already got your free account set up, great. If not, you can either go register now or you can watch for now and get your account and practice later. For those of you who do want to sign up, here's what you'll do. Go to Screencast-O-Matic.com. When you go to the Screencast-O-Matic website, you'll see the Sign Up It's Free button in the upper right corner. The free version allows you to record and save. There is a paid version which has a wide array of tools and capabilities. That's what I have because it's only about $20 a year, a very inexpensive way to humanize your online course. If you want to practice with the editing tools along with me today, I recommend you sign up for the free trial rather than just the free account. They don't require a credit card, so you won't be charged unless you decide to upgrade later. But that way, you can play around for a bit with the editing tools and see if you like it. Either click the Sign Up It's Free button or the Free Trial button and enter your email. You may want to use the email and password you use for your College of the Canyons instance of Canvas. Here's why. Screencast-O-Matic has a Canvas integration, meaning you can access your Screencast-O-Matic videos right from the rich content editor. The integration works if you use the same login credentials as what you use to log into Canvas, so that Screencast-O-Matic recognizes who you are when you're logged into Canvas. It's not a problem if you use different login credentials. You'll still be able to grab videos from your Screencast-O-Matic account and embed them onto a Canvas page. There is also a Screencast-O-Matic app where you can record, edit, and share on an Android. But I will admit I don't do much of anything on my phone, so I haven't used the app. I just wanted you to know it's available if you're a phone person. You will need a webcam and a microphone to record. I'm on a Mac, so I have both built in. And if you use the phone app, you'll have the same capability. On a PC, you may need to purchase a webcam and mic if you don't have them already. I'm in my account now. Notice these three icons at the top right. The first is the capture screenshot. The second is the launch recorder. The third is Open Video Editor. The recording application itself is not cloud-based, so the first time you use it, you'll need to download the app to your device. I can't show you that part because it's already installed on my device, but let me describe the steps so you know what to expect. Once you've set up your Screencast-O-Matic account, select the Download Install button that you'll see on your screen. Locate the Install Screencast-O-Matic 2.0.dmg file in your Downloads area or whichever folder your downloads go into. Follow whatever steps you normally take to install an app on your PC or Mac. Let me show you the interface and what you can do. Then we'll dive into how to use the tools, and you can get a little practice if you signed up for the free trial. I would love for you to end up with some actual skill at the end of this, not just theory. Here on the landing page, it shows the videos I've created in descending chronological order. When you select your account icon, you can see there's several options, one of which is tutorials. Screencast-O-Matic has a number of useful video tutorials to help you. You can set up channels for sharing, much like in YouTube. I don't use my Screencast-O-Matic that way, so I don't have any channels. And of course the trash button for the things that you don't want to keep. All right, let's look at recording. My suggestion is that you watch while I'm demonstrating, and then you can pause the video and try out whatever I just showed you. I'll start the recorder, and then I'll see the recording area outlined with the zebra stripes. I can grab the handle in any corner to adjust the size of the recording area. I can grab this icon in the center of it to move the entire recording area. You'll also see the recording menu. I can choose to record just my webcam. I can choose to record screen. I can choose to record webcam, or I can choose to record both, which will put a little inset camera in the corner. I know some people don't like to be on screen, but it's important you're not just a disembodied voice in your videos. Let students see you. They do on Zoom, they do in class, so why not on video? I believe the max time comes into play if you have a free account. I think you're limited to recordings of less than 15 minutes, which is actually a good thing since that will encourage you to keep your videos short and focused. Students are much less likely to watch long videos. If I want a standard presentation size, I can select one of the default sizes, or I can do custom. The narration dropdown is where you'll select the proper microphone you're using. Your options are probably going to look different than mine. You can see my Mac is selected. If I had an external mic, it would show up in this list as well, and I could choose it. If you want the keystrokes recorded, or if you're playing a YouTube video as part of your recording, for example, you could indicate that by saying, yes, you wanted the computer audio sounds recorded. I tend to leave all of my preferences as the default, but you can make adjustments to things like hotkeys and whether it counts down before it starts recording, etc. So here's a suggestion. Start your recording with both from this main menu, because then you're going to have the ability to pause the recording and change the view. That's nice because it means you can be visible at the beginning, or at any point really, but especially at the beginning, to say, hey, welcome, here's what we're going to cover in this video. And then you can toggle off screen and just show your desktop or your slide deck or whatever it is. Let me show you. So I've got it toggled to both. This little inset can be moved wherever. So if you're in studio, plan to put your video in studio, one of the things to be aware of is the captions show at the top. So you may want to move your camera down to the bottom. In YouTube, as most of us know, captions are at the bottom. So then it would be good to have your video at the top. Also think about if you're demonstrating things and something's in this upper corner, you want to remember your video is going to be there. Again, if you're just doing it at the beginning for the intro, not a problem. So I'm going to start the recording. I'm going to make my recording size a little bigger. And now I'm going to start it. Hey, welcome. Here we are on the home page. Just wanted to say hi, and I'm going to introduce you to navigating our course. Then I pause the video, and now I can switch over to the desktop only. That's what this dash means. Now, the weird thing is, don't worry that you can still see yourself on the webcam. You're not actually being recorded. The funny thing is, you're going to see yourself while you're recording, and you're going to see yourself when you try to preview it. But when you hit done and watch in the actual edit mode, you're not going to see yourself during the portion where you selected screen only. So now I'm going to say a little bit more. Counts down again. I say, okay, so here we are in the modules area, and I'm going to show you how to navigate. So then I stop my video. I will hit done. So here's what you're going to do. Your first practice activity. If you're set up, go ahead and start the recorder so you get that menu. Let me select done so you can. So you'll select launch recorder. It'll start, it'll open up, you'll get the main screen. Select both so that you can do what I did. You can start on screen, then pause your recording, deselect and move over to the desktop only, and then do a little bit more recording. That way you're going to have a chance to practice with the editing tools. Just do maybe, 10 seconds or something. I just want you to start practice, stopping and starting and changing the visibility. So go ahead and pause the video right now and make your little practice recording, and we'll come back and I'll show you about the editing tool. Let me show you one more demo, and then I'm going to give you another practice task with the editing tool. I tend to add things like arrows, etc., after I've done the recording, but there is a draw and zoom tool right here, this little pen icon, that lets you add arrows, lines, text boxes, and even freehand drawing while you're recording. All right, let's take a look at editing. I've made my little practice recording and I clicked done, and it then opens this editing pop-up and it asks me what I want to do. If the video is good as is, I can just say save it as a file or into my Screencast-O-Matic account. Saving it as a video file would put it into your computer, so you would then be able to upload it to YouTube or Studio or some other external place. Uploading it to Screencast-O-Matic just keeps it in your account. I have had a lot of trouble with trying to upload it to YouTube directly from Screencast-O-Matic. You may have better luck than me, so you can try it, but what I want to do is edit. So we're going to open the edit. When I click it, you can now see that I have my timeline down at the bottom and some options at the right toolbar. Remember, this is the paid version, so if you've got a free account, you're probably not going to be seeing these same things. I'm going to make it a little bigger for you. Over here, I can toggle on and off narration, and when I toggle it off, watch what happens to the timeline. So the audio disappears or comes back. I can add music. I can turn off the cursor, which I usually do because I don't want it visible. I'd rather add in arrows and boxes and things to highlight what I want. Here's where, if I've recorded with the webcam and then I decide at the last minute I don't really want it, you can turn it off. But as I said, it's really great to have a little bit at the beginning and then turn it off later in your recording, which you can only do while you're recording. You can't, if you turn it off from here, it turns it off everywhere. So if I play, hey, welcome, here we are on the home page. Just wanted to say hi, and I'm going to introduce you to navigating our course. I say, and then that's, you can see the little dashed line. That's where I paused the recording. And so what I can do now is trim out that part because it's got kind of a blank space here. So I'm going to put my marker there. From the tool menu, I will select the drop down and I'm going to say cut. The red line appears and I can then drag one end of it. And if you can see, hopefully, this amount of red line is showing me exactly what part of my snippet is going to be cut out. I'll say okay, and boom, it's gone. So I can do that with all the parts that I no longer want or that I made a mistake or whatever. You could just use the cut tool. If I want to add a transition, so here I'm on one screen and then over here, it's another screen. And I don't want it to just be a really abrupt transition. I want to have it sort of flow. So I'll put my cursor right before the trimmed area, the little dotted line, and I will say transition. And then, okay, I have options. I could make it a different type of transition. I could make it longer, etc. I tend to just go with the default. So now when we watch, you'll see it'll fade. I say, okay, so here from one screen to the next, just makes it a little more professional looking and less abrupt. The other thing you can do over here is add caption. One thing to be aware of, it used to be, and I'm not sure if it still is, but Screencast-O-Matic captions used to be what are called open captions, which means they're always on screen and the user can't turn them off the way you can with closed captions. It's not a big deal. You just want to be aware that if, and you may want to test it on a practice one to make sure that's still the case, maybe they've enhanced their caption feature and it's no longer open captions. But test it out, particularly if you're doing a demo, as I mentioned earlier. You want to keep in mind that captions are going to be there, potentially blocking a part of the screen. I had said you could add things, boxes and arrows and everything during editing. You're going to use this same tool that we use to trim and to add the transition. So let's say I want to add an arrow here. I will click the tools. I'll say overlay. I have a bunch of different options. I'm going to say arrow. I can choose the color by customizing the style. I can choose the color, what the end looks like, et cetera, et cetera. Then I can just have my arrow. I can move it, which this is one of the advantages to doing the additions here in the edit mode. If you're doing it in recording mode, you don't have as much versatility to move the arrows and text boxes exactly where you want them. You can only put them where they are while you're recording, and then it's kind of stuck there. So I like to do the additions here. So I've got that. Down here in the timeline, it shows me how long the arrow will be visible. I can adjust that if I want. If I decide I don't want the arrow, I can cancel once I've said okay. And now let's watch a little snippet. You'll see the transition and then the arrow will appear. Of course, I say, okay, so here we are in the modules area and I'm going to show you. And so I realized, oh, okay, that's not an arrow I want. I can go ahead and open it up again and I have the trash, so I can delete it if I realize I don't want it, or I could have moved it if I wanted it in a different place in the video. Another tool that you may find handy is the insert existing project. And that, for example, let's say I've recorded a mini lecture and I plan to use it for more than one of my classes. I can then also separately record a little short introduction for each of my classes, so it's relevant to them and doesn't come across as just a generic video. And then you can duplicate the mini lecture video, and for each one, come in and insert the existing little introduction. You would put your cursor at the beginning, and then you would use that insert existing. And so you can make a customized mini lecture with a different introduction without having to re-record the lecture itself. Pretty cool. One last thing I want to show you is the zoom feature. This one is not found in the regular dropdown. To get the zoom feature, I would click into the video area itself, and you'll see this pop-up comes up. It's showing me what the size of the viewing area is, and I can zoom in and then move things. So let's say I want to show them the Get Started button. I can zoom in. A little trick is it shows me where the zoom's going to start. I can click the dot. For some reason, it's saying 0, so I'm going to make it longer. And then I can move it by grabbing the handle. I can move it to the zoom to start here. And let's say I want it to go for, and I can watch to see how long I want it. On the home page, and then I stop. I want to reset it so it zooms back out. So I'm going to reset. I'm going to click the little circle so it knows where I want the reset to happen. And then I'm done. And it makes me say okay twice. So now let's watch what that looks like. Hey, welcome. Here we are on the home page. Just wanted to. So it's just another feature that allows you, if you're showing something kind of small on the screen, it allows you to zoom in and let students really see what you're pointing at. In the Zoom area, I can still use all the tools. So I could add a text box, I could add an arrow, I could add whatever it is I want to do. So you're going to have fun playing around with this. And here's your homework. Make a short recording, different from the little practice one you did here. Make a short recording. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just be sure to add a few specific elements so that you can practice with the various tools. So here's what your recording is going to do. If you've got a mic, be sure to include narration and record at least 2 windows, meaning you're recording, say, your modules area and then also another page, or you're doing 2 different slides or something so that you can add a transition. The thing to know about transitions, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, is the transition will only be visible if there is a trimmed area. If I add a transition in the middle of a regular screen that's just a consistent screen, the transition won't show. It has to be a transition across where you've done a trim in the video itself. So when you are recording and you're moving from one screen to the next screen, be sure to leave a little bit of time so that you can, in other words, don't be talking as you're doing it. Otherwise, you won't be able to trim out a little bit and add that transition. Okay, so you're going to do narration. You're going to do at least 2 windows or slides so you can add a transition. And then when you select done and edit, play with the editing tools. So you're going to add at least 1 overlay, an arrow, a text box, a shape, whatever. Do a zoom in and then a zoom out. And if you want to get fancy, you can play around with adding music. 2 tips. Flub up a little, and you don't have to trash your whole video recording and start over. Just stay silent for 2 or 3 seconds and then start that part again, start talking or doing whatever you're doing. That way, when you're in edit mode, you can find the silence and you'll know where to trim out the mistake. Makes it very easy. Secondly, the pause button is your friend. I always use a script, so I've got everything planned out and I know what I'm going to say. But if you are somebody that doesn't want to use a script, you want to use an outline or you've got little notes or something, here's what you can do. Record a little bit, hit pause, figure out what you want to say and do next, start the recording again. Do that little bit, hit pause again while you figure out what's next, and just keep doing that as you go through your video. The trick, as I said, is to leave a little bit of silence before and after you hit the pause button so you could trim that out and add in a nice transition. Okay, go have fun with it.